How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. Whew. It's an interesting night tonight. I have successfully come up an hour late for the show. That doesn't always happen. I tell you what, when burnout sets in, y'all, burnout sets in. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and do it this way. Um, Make sure that you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you join the membership if you're here. Uh, the rest of you, hit the follow button. Today we're going to be touching base with you guys on a general topic that the fans brought up. Let's go ahead and just get started since we're running a little bit late today.
My boyfriend is telling me I'm embarrassing him because he hates my eyelashes so much. So I like to wear long eyelashes. My boyfriend has said to me many times he doesn't like them, but today this caused an argument as he said I can't wear them around him as it annoys him so much, and he is embarrassed to go out for food with me if I'm wearing them. The eyelashes I wear are mega volume. I wouldn't say that to the point that I can't see my eyelids at all. They are kind of hybrid/mega volume if you need to look it up. He is a very respectful and kind person, but I think this is just something that annoys him so much. He says everything about me is perfect, but it's just the eyelashes really make him annoyed as he thinks they look stupid and hide my natural beauty. We have been together for 6 years. He has never been controlling whatsoever, but this is just one thing that annoys him. Is he overreacting? Are they stupid?
Yes, they are definitely stupid. They are outrageously stupid. So let's go ahead and start off with the fact that you've been dating this man for 6 years, and he tells you that this one thing that he doesn't like that you don't want to stop doing. But he shows you the utmost respect and everything to that effect. He's been telling you for 6 years that it's extremely embarrassing. Just because you think it's okay to do something doesn't mean that it is. And if you're supposed to be following the lead of the loving, respecting boyfriend that you have chosen, that would hopefully, if you're dating to marry, lead towards being the loving, respecting husband that you chose to get with. If he's telling you that you shouldn't be doing this, then you shouldn't be doing this. Why are you making it difficult for your boyfriend to be your boyfriend? We experience this a lot in our modern day culture where women do not like being told what to do. They write off a man's opinion by saying that the man is overreacting and the man is just uh, uh, being absurd. But let's be honest, men want natural beauty. Men do not want artificial. So men are not interested in women that carry themselves artificially. So the fake wigs and the lace fronts and fake eyelashes and all that other stuff. Men are not they're not appealed by that at all. And we would prefer that our girlfriends didn't have that. We would prefer to get the real deal from day one because just like we've had this discussion on the show before, if I told you that I was a Wall Street bank broker and you would say that I'm lying to you, but you say that it's fine that you're able to wear, pounds of makeup to change your skin complexion, and you're able to turn around and you've got the waist trainer on, you've got padded bras, you've got butt lifts, you're wearing heels to modify your height. Like so, there's literally on first sight almost nothing that is really you, and we're supposed to accept that for who you are. And then when you come back to the house and you take all that stuff off, you look like a completely different person. We're supposed to be able to accept that and say that that's who you are. That's not who you are. That's who you want to think you are until you take all that stuff off. So it makes actually no sense for a woman that demands for a man to accept her for who she really is to put on so much effort to have this persona that she is something that she's not until she decides to take whatever that is off. So in and of itself is one of the reasons why like it really frustrates men that women are putting on all this fake stuff and then expecting men to accept them for being, the natural them. That's the idea of what you want to look like. However, those lashes, they definitely, even those where women with very thin eyelashes wear the very light short eyelashes, it still have an orangutan look to it. The eyelashes do not make you more attractive. There are women who have larger, poppier eyes, and they'll put the longer lashes on it to hide their eyes. And yeah, long eyelashes and long hair and big breasts and wide hips are signs of fertility. Flush skin, so the redness in the cheeks, and all of these signs of fertility is what women emulate in order to attract men. Because men's primal instincts for procreation is going to be aiming for the more fertile women. So outside of the fake fingernails that have literally nothing to do with anything, it's just shiny and you like shiny. Uh, Eyelashes is one of those characteristics that women utilize to emulate excessive fertility, and you'll utilize that in order to attract your man. But if your man tells you, so if you weren't wearing that often when you met him, and he's telling you now that you guys are dating that you don't have to do that he would be fine with you with no makeup on and no fake eyelashes and no fake anything, and he'd be just fine with just the way you are, and actually more attracted to you if you had less of that stuff on. After a year, 2 years into the relationship, you should have long stopped doing that. I would say 6 months, 9 months, you would have kind of phased out of it and just stopped buying this extra stuff. And once it ran out, you just didn't have it anymore, because it would make more sense for you to respect what your boyfriend says. And he, for some reason, has to deal with you still doing it 6 years into the relationship, and he's been saying, don't do it. These are those non-negotiable expectations for behavior that I said that, look, if you see this, you don't like it, don't even start, because this man has been saying since the beginning of your relationship that this behavior is unacceptable. She still recognizes that while it's unacceptable, she's going to do it anyway because that's what she wants to do. So she has no respect for her boyfriend. She has no respect for her husband, because she's going to keep making that boy, there you go, Clips XF, I see. And she's going to keep doing that, and that's going to be the way things are. And you're going to have those relationships where the woman wants to demand respect. The woman is going to demand compliance to her authority. But even in a mutual respect relationship, she's not even willing to respect your preferences for you not to be looking overly sexualized for unnecessary fashion, because you're not single anymore. And how do you? Oh, well, that's a good question. Now, let me answer that in just a second. So, uh, she wants you to respect her. She wants you to be compliant to her, but she's not willing to respect your expectations of how your girlfriend is supposed to look, and she's not going to even pay attention to your expectations as well as your wants, needs, and desires, when she's completely ignoring you to do whatever it is that she wants. So these are some of the things that are never going to change. And since these things are never going to change in a relationship where you're not being respected from the beginning of the relationship, why are you going to entertain that particular type of relationship when you cannot get that respect in return, when that respect is expected from you? So I clearly would say that from the first date, and I observed the overly gaudy eyelashes, I would have. This is one of those pop the balloon situations, and I would have just walked away and said, nope, not doing it. Good to see you, Noah. So to answer Clips's question, he says, how do you have so many subs but no views? Well, if you're putting videos up there that are not something that people want to watch, then you're not going to have any views. That's how you deal with that. If you are dealing with submitting, if you're uploading it onto your platform, but everything's made private, that's another way. You have no view. Tagging other people's videos onto your platform, and people are not interested in those videos, then you'll also have no views. So there are a handful of ways that you'll have a handful of videos but no views. Let's go ahead and slide into the next commenter.
I got a strange one, fellas. So, I matched with a girl on Bumble. However, she has self-proclaimed many mental and physical hindrances. Now, from the get-go, I didn't feel a strong attraction to her despite being chronically and tragically single for 7 over years. I think this girl has a lot of weird quirks that very much match mine, and I don't get to connect with people like that very often. However, on our third meetup, I noticed her body odor was really bad. She also doesn't shave, which, while not my preference, but what can I casually say to her to address her hygiene that's not offensive or too confrontational? I feel like she is unbelievably sensitive towards being called out, but her scent is seriously bad.
Oh, well. There's no nice way that you can tell somebody that they're fucking up. So in this situation, if you're dealing with a girl that's got a pretty strong body odor and you're not down for that, the quietest thing that you can do that's non-confrontational is to not tell her. Just go ahead and slide off. And the sad part is that you're actually not going to end up in that position where you're going to find a way to tell her that she's got this issue. So the smoothest, softest way that you can hit this blow is to have a conversation about hygiene. So if this is your girlfriend and you guys have been dating for a while, you have to bring this up where it's just the two of y'all so that there aren't witnesses around. You have to, in the longest explanation possible, is that, I've noticed that you have been experiencing a strong odor as of late, and I was wondering what that was about. Your scent has been negative and extremely strong recently, and wondering what that is about, because it could be that there is a reason for it. If it wasn't something that's always been that way, something could have changed in her personal life. She could have missed out on a shower. She could have been coming straight to you from work. She could have dealt with broken plumbing in her apartment. So something could have changed. She could have somebody interfering, if she's in a roommate scenario, that is interfering with their accessibility to the shower, where she can't get to that shower before she leaves. So she has to get to that shower when she comes back. There could be something. If you want to, without explaining to her what to do, you could buy her a nice outfit, ask her to go take a shower, and then buy her some perfume to go with that nice outfit. So when she comes out of the shower, she can use the perfume that you want her to wear, and then wear the dress that she wants to wear. And then when she smells that way, you compliment her, and that would be positive reinforcement. So that would be one way to get her to conform to your expectations. Is you invite her over to your house, you have her a nice outfit, and for whatever reason you encourage her to go take a shower first and then put the new outfit on, and then get her the perfume and have her wear the perfume. And then if you have a washer and dryer at your house, go ahead and wash the clothes that she came with, and then compliment her and say, I really like the way you smell when you smell like this. and then that will be her hint to smell like that. Now, this types of approach is only going to work on a woman that is obedient and compliant. So if you have one of those feminists, you can't tell me what to do kind of women, that's not going to really work for you. You're going to offer her a dress. She's going to want to go put it on. She's not going to really think about taking a shower beforehand. She's going to argue you down about why you're telling her that she should take a shower before she puts on a dress, and then you're ultimately going to tell her that the reason why you're insisting that she goes and takes a shower is that she has a very horrible body odor and that you need her to go and wash up before y'all leave so that she doesn't have that incredibly strong body odor in your presence. It's not going to end well if she's one of those feminist women that are argumentative towards men. She's going to man shame you about you pointing it out to her that she has a body odor, and you are just doing what is in her best interest by changing her scent, changing her aroma. So if you don't want to do it, if you are a conflict avoidant person, then the only thing I can say is that you break up with her and just don't associate with her anymore. But if you really like the girl, if her quirky, awkward attitude is your style, and you just have this one thing that really gets under your skin that you would like to see change, then you're either going to have to hit the wall running and just say, hey, look, I need you to start taking some showers before you come over, or you can do the intervention approach where you can sit her down and be like, Sally, yeah, it's been a long time coming that we have to have this conversation about your body odor, and try to lead that into something. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the next one.
I am a 28-year-old female who found out my husband, 29 years old, has been telling his co-workers that I'm his sister. What do I do? Please help. My husband, I'll call him Josh, and I have been together for 6 years. Married for 4. And we don't have kids. We have a really healthy and communicative relationship. We're both pretty easygoing and I really love him. He started working at a large accounting firm about 3 years ago. And from what he tells me, he loves it there. He's made a lot of friends through his job and he goes out with them for drinks and social events quite often. And I've been totally okay with that. I'm quite introverted, so I've never been interested in meeting his colleagues or work friends. Nor have I asked to. I've got my own circle of friends and I'm fine with us having separate friend groups. After what happened yesterday, it only just occurred to me that he has never actually asked me if I'd like to meet any of them or go to one of his work events. I guess that's important context. Anyway, I'll start with what happened a few months ago. That I had brushed off until now. I was at a bar with some friends for a couple of Friday after work drinks. And a guy approached me. He was there with some friends too. He looked slightly familiar, but I hadn't met him before. He seemed friendly enough. And he asked me my name, right? I think I must have just given him a confused look. Because he followed up with, I'm Jake, I work with Josh. I realized that I recognized him from some photos on my husband's phone. I don't use social media except for a private Instagram. So I'm not sure if he posted the photos anywhere. But we've got a very trusting relationship, so I look at his photos sometimes. Don't hate me. This is where it gets a bit embarrassing. I'm a bit socially awkward, so I struggled to end the conversation. But he just kept talking at me. I guess he was already a couple of beers deep. But while he was talking, he said something like, it's great that you guys are still so close. I haven't talked to my brother in ages. At the time I was like, huh? But I just assumed he was drunk and not making sense. So I ignored it. He started to get a little flirty, so I turned to my friends and we left shortly after that. I didn't say anything to them about it, and it didn't seem like a big deal to me. I also decided not to tell my husband that I had met his coworker Jake. Not to hide it, but because I figured the guy wouldn't even remember talking to me. And I didn't want to make it awkward for Josh at work by telling him his colleague tried to hit on me. I just thought no harm, no foul. But yesterday morning, I was out walking our dog. Monty. He's a cross between a few breeds and has very unique markings. This matters, I promise. And was on my way to my regular cafe, which is in town. I was waiting in line to order. And the guy in front was an older man. He got his coffee and turned around, but stopped and looked at my dog and said, Hello, Monty. Monty was super excited to see him. Apparently. And so I guessed that the guy was another colleague of Josh's. Because Josh brings the dog to the office a couple of times a week. I thought it was sweet, to be honest. So I smiled at him and said hi. He introduced himself. I guessed correctly that he was a colleague. But then he said something like, Aren't you a good sister, walking his dog for him? I was so confused that I didn't even know how to react at first. So I stumbled on my words and just said, It's my dog. I regret it, but I genuinely couldn't bring myself to correct him and say that I'm Josh's wife and not his sister. It was just too awkward. And I just wanted to leave because I think was suddenly dawning on me what might have been going on. He asked me something about us sharing a dog, but I was able to escape the conversation by being next in line to order my coffee. And he left. I seriously don't know what to do. Because what the fuck? Do I even ask my husband about this? Part of me is just assuming or hoping that it's a mistake. That he doesn't talk about me much at work and they assume we are related because we both have brown hair? But the thought that he has been telling his co-workers that I'm his sister. And evidently, they have seen what I look like. So they must have seen photos. Makes my stomach churn. I don't even know how I would broach the subject with him. I need some help. What would you guys do in this situation? I have only told one friend what happened because it's so weird and embarrassing. And she has jumped straight to a time to plot his downfall. Because she's my ride or die. Love her. But I don't want to immediately assume the worst or ruin my marriage over something that could be nothing. Josh came home at about 2:30 a.m. last night. But he was drunk, so he just went straight to sleep. Which is fine by me because fuck having this conversation in that state. I've just woken up, but he's still sleeping. The first thing I just want to clear up. I've seen a lot of people suggesting I have crippling social anxiety. Or am severely introverted, which I suppose you could glean from the way I explained what happened. But I'm not. I meant that I'm slightly introverted in that I'm not the most eager to meet lots of new people at once. Especially a bunch of finance brothers whose weekends consist of unending sports bar beers. Where I assume I would be mansplained everything until my ears bleed. Probably a negative assumption. But I'm sure some of you know what I mean. I suppose you could say that I'm confrontation averse in that I'm quite laid back and prefer to keep a conversation easy and positive. I don't know. I don't like it when things are awkward, and correcting when people misrecognized me is one of those things. But I'm not terrified of confrontation. Also, my husband and I do share some mutual friends. I didn't explain that well, but our lives are not entirely separate. The way he acts towards me around our mutual friends is extremely affectionate and normal. It is only his work friends that I have never interacted with. I've also seen some people suggest that what is going on is equivalent to my husband beating me and me hopelessly wondering whether I should break up with him. Or that I'm stupid for thinking my relationship was healthy when it clearly isn't. Damn. Cut me some slack. I'm a real person and this is an entirely alien and bizarre situation for me. My first reaction wasn't to assume the worst, but I do appreciate that you all have made me certain that it is a big deal. I guess I needed confirmation that the things that happened were enough proof that Josh had been purposefully lying and that they weren't just mix-ups. I'm going to talk to him today and ask him directly why he's telling his co-workers that I'm his sister. I followed the advice of writing my points down so that they don't get lost if I get emotional. I will do my best not to let him slither out of it, and I hope he has some proof that his colleagues know I'm his wife.
Oh my God. Okay, so let me see if I can follow this train of thought. I'm going to go down the line piece by piece. First of all, the first gentleman that bumped into you and started talking to you and considered you the guy's sister. Soon as he identified or referenced as if you were the man's sister, you were supposed to intervene with that and correct him. Secondly, you're technically, because you're married, you're not supposed to be having interactions with his friends, especially without his friends being there. So that was an epic fail on your part for it to go beyond, you're a good sister. Secondly, in order for him to be able to make passes at you, he would have to assume that you are the man's sister, because you are not correcting him and telling him that you're not a sister, that you're his wife. When it comes down to people being misled to believe that you are his sister, this is apparently a small town, because you're running into everybody that he knows. So unless they're deliberately doing this as a running joke where you are not catching on, and because you are not the type of person that is combative, and he knows this, that he is inappropriately carrying this prank on for far too long, and the people in his office are involved in it, then you not saying anything makes the joke last longer. It's not healthy, because that should have been a short-lived scenario that would have fizzled itself out within the first week or two of it happening. But you were supposed to go and talk to your boyfriend about it, your husband about it, actually, the first time that somebody mistaken you as his sister. So they know him, they're aware of you, but they're calling you his sister. You were supposed to go and tell your husband about that from the beginning, so that your husband can rectify that if he so chose to rectify that. The other problem that we have, your lack of communication and your conflict avoidance, is that you believe that you will be able to communicate, or not communicate, handle the situation yourself. So you are in public with your dog, and you are able to defend the fact that the dog is yours, but you are for some reason not willing to defend the fact that you are his wife. When the man at the cafe confronts you and tells you, oh, it's good that you're taking your brother's dog out, you're able to say, oh, it's my dog, but you're not able to say, not only is it my dog, that is my husband. So I would walk my husband's dog. You did not correct him. And your self-embarrassment to the fact that you couldn't stand up and identify yourself as this man's wife is an issue that you should have been correcting a long time ago. Okay. I don't know why you two are not wearing matching wedding rings or something to that effect, where you could have simply, when he said sister, you could have showed your hand, and he would be like, oh, so you're not a sister, you're his wife. I'm sorry about that. And then carry on, because that's what the wedding band is for, is to symbolize marriage. If you're going to prove your position, and the wedding band has, I will always love you forever, Josh, and you show that in that wedding band that, Josh is declaring his love for you on a wedding band, then he understands that you are his wife. Now, from the toxic perspective, I don't understand why he's telling everybody that he knows that you're his wife, unless he is not proud of you because of your looks or your behavior or whatever, the way you carry yourself in public. I don't know. If hoping this is a joke, but if it's not a joke, there are people who say that this is like abuse, and I can't really say that that's the case, but I can say that there is some foul play afoot that is enough of a concern that you should have had a conversation a long time ago. But this actually goes to show that, instead of being a good partner to your spouse and going to them, even if they're not being a good partner to you, instead of you being a good partner to your spouse and going to your spouse and informing your spouse that there is a problem that needs to be addressed, instead of doing that, you choose to wing it and just figure it out on your own. You should never, in a relationship, be trying to figure out anything on your own. You should be trying to communicate with your partner, be it your husband or your wife, and try to negotiate your way through whatever problem or issue that you guys are trying to solve. As men are supposed to make executive decisions. So if your wife is not available, you are to make decisions on her behalf. But she's electing a man that is supposed to be capable of making the choices that she needs made. So even if she is not available, he should be making choices that she does not disagree with. But early on in your relationship, the first few months, that's part of the dating phase, is you are learning the decisions that you would make as a man. She would be learning the decisions you're going to make as a man, for her to determine if your decision-making process is equivalent to her satisfaction. And if she wants to stay with a representative that is making decisions that she's not okay with, that's a choice that she has to make. But as a man, you're going to put forth the effort to find out her wants and needs and desires, her likes and dislikes, which means that you will know what she wants and what she doesn't want, which means that you will be capable of deciding on getting things and doing things that you know that she will like. That's also part of the dating phase, learning what she likes and learning what she dislikes, which gives you the ability to make decisions based off of what she likes and doesn't like. Now, when it comes down to the accessibility of resources and stuff to that effect in the relationship, what she likes and doesn't like is less relevant in those scenarios, because you're going to be deciding on what is in the best interest of your relationship. And since that is going to be your decision-making process, you are deciding to make certain sacrifices or take certain actions that will benefit. Okay. And if she doesn't like your decision-making process, then she can communicate with you that she doesn't like your decision-making process down the line. Either way, you're going to work that out over the long term. If you've been married to this man for a long period of time, you should know how he's treating you and how he's talking about you and stuff to that effect. Now, on that note, you're able to go through his Instagram and look at photos, but you're not able to go through the DMs and look at the comments and other social media platforms that he has on his phone. If you are going through his phone and looking at pictures because you have a trusting relationship and he's not identifying you as his wife on social media, as his sister on social media, then there should be a less devious and malice-driven answer to the reason why some of his colleagues are making it a point to communicate with you and then identify you as his wife. Now, there are some people that do not lie about, they lie about their personal lives in order to gain favor in their workplace. But I don't see how saying that your wife is your sister is something that is protecting your marriage, when your colleagues will assume that your wife is actually a single sister that they can make a pass at. So yeah, I'm still not lining up all of the pieces. You should have confronted him about the situation a long time ago, gotten a clear understanding as to what things were, learn the assignment, and then follow suit or put a stop to it. One way or another, you should not be flying blind on autopilot, just allowing it to happen and then not telling your husband that you are not satisfied with this particular outcome. When it comes down to being conflict avoidant, I would say that if you are in a situation that you don't like being in, that is the point that you're supposed to step up and say something. So being conflict avoidant by not telling the first man that you were you was Josh's wife is not healthy in a situation, and it actually reinforces a lie. You don't want to reinforce a lie. Then the other man is a second person that comes up from the man's workplace that addresses you as a sister, but you will defend the dog. So you're comfortable with saying, oh no, this is my dog, it's not his dog. But you're not comfortable with saying that, oh yeah, I'm his wife, I'm not his sister. That makes no sense to me either. If you were universally not comfortable with correcting people, then you would have never said, it's my dog. Because the man said you're a good person for walking your brother's dog. You know, and because this guy's trying to get to the bottom of it, oh, you guys are sharing a dog? You should be able to say, yeah, I am sharing a dog with my husband. and we're not siblings. Like that clarification. But if you're going to go with the flow and you're going to feed into a lie by not correcting the man, you're going to make a bad situation worse. Under the assumption that what if he's putting on his persona because he has an affair going on and you're going along with it, under that particular assumption, it is bad for you to entertain a fictitious description of yourself and the relationship that you have with your husband because you are conflict avoidant. So every time somebody approaches you and calls you a sister, you're supposed to be able to say, no, I'm not a sister, I'm his wife. And no, you're able to say, no, that's not his dog, it's my dog. You need to be able to say, no, I'm not a sister, I'm his wife. And then you do your own personal investigation. Well, where are you getting that from? What leads you to believe that, my husband is my brother? And, then they'll be able to explain themselves, or they will uncomfortably remove themselves from the conversation, and they will be able to combat those rumors that are being said about you being the man's sister with rumors that will go around saying that he married his sister. And then he'll have to explain because his sister is claiming to be his wife. So either his sister is his wife, or that's not his sister, or that's not his wife. Some explaining has to do, Lucy. So you got some explaining to do. Either way, you're saying something is something that needs to be done. All right, let's go ahead and slide into the next one.
Found a girlfriend and was terrified of losing her. I have never ever in my life spoken to a woman, except for my mom, of course. I'm 19. And at this point, I thought I'd never find a girlfriend until months ago I met the most amazing girl on this earth. I honestly don't know how she could love someone like me. I had mentioned to her that I was concerned about losing her because not only she's the only woman I ever talked to, she's my only friend who understands me. She's literally everything you could hope for in a friend and a girlfriend. And I am absolutely terrified she'll leave me or tell me she hates me. I have talked to her about this, and she always tells me to drop these thoughts because it wouldn't happen in a million years, but doesn't she deserve better than me? How can I get over this feeling?
Okay, sir. Low self-esteem. This happens to people, especially people with chronic depression. You can go if you are dealing with this low of a value of yourself. I don't know why, but you can talk to a therapist, psychiatrist. They could probably give you some medication to fix that, or you can start doing a survey about yourself to the general people around you and find out what other people think about you. All of those compliments should be able to boost your self-esteem enough for you to self-ascribe to the same expectations as the people around you. If the people around you are saying that you're a really good person, that you're nice, kind, and compassionate, then you know that you are a really good person and nice, kind, and compassionate because your environment believes that you are a nice, kind, and compassionate person. Now, I don't always say, listen to what other people say about you, be your own person. But if you do not personally think that you are valuable enough to have the woman that you have, but the woman that you have is claiming that she will not leave you for a million years and she will never despise you in any way, shape, or form, or promote not being with you in any scenario, then you are supposed to be able to accept that and love and cherish and care for this woman to the best of your ability. Now, the other issue that I'm noticing in this scenario is this is a very good girl that you got here. And you did say that she was one of the best women that you could find on the face of the earth. A woman that is willing to tell you how much she loves you and cares for you and how much she values you versus the average women that we have to deal with in today's society who does not have enough respect for the boyfriend or the husband that they're with to tell that man that he's important, that he matters, and that she will always be by his side, self-proclaiming loyalty and dedication to him. these are things that we experience on a regular basis where we as men do not need to experience, we do not experience this as much as we would need to. And that is one of the reasons why we say that, ladies, you guys should show men across the board more often than you do the fact that you admire and appreciate them and value them for the things that they're doing in your life, whether they're your boyfriend, your husband, or some man that you interact with on a daily basis. Notice, I'm not saying that you're telling them how much you love them. I'm saying that you have to tell them how much you admire and appreciate them and value them. So if they work hard, if they're always at work, if they're always doing a good job, and you appreciate them for not making your job harder, if you appreciate them for putting so much effort into their work, then you're supposed to be able to express that verbally and say, I really appreciate you. You are a valuable person, and I benefit from your, because this is the things that men don't hear, and they could really use that train of thought more often than they get. So you have a girlfriend, sir, that does tell you on a regular basis that you are important, and you should start listening to that. And fellas, when we are looking for that special someone for ourselves, we are looking for a woman that will do the exact same thing. She will put forth the effort to make sure that she reminds us exactly how valuable we are to her, and she will go the extra mile to give us the reassurance that she will be dedicated and loyal to us, with no ifs, ands, or buts about it. No what ifs, no hypotheticals. That it will be undiscriminately loyal and dedicated to you. These are the things that we are looking for in a higher valued woman. And apparently, sir, you have that. So cherish it, take good care of it, covet it, don't mess it up. That's what I have to say about that.
I got stood up. I wanna cry. Hi, I'm a 20-year-old. This guy and I met on Hinge. We'd been talking for a week and everything seemed to go so well. He asked me out on a date, and I agreed. He spoke about how he was really excited to go out with me. He lived pretty far away though, so we decided to meet in the middle. I drove about 45 minutes to the restaurant we were supposed to meet at. I called him 20 minutes before I arrived and he told me that he'd arrived already. Once I finally got there, I wasn't able to call him. Tried texting him on every platform. Went over to Hinge and saw that he'd unmatched me. My texts weren't going through, my calls weren't going through, and he'd blocked me basically. I feel horrible cause we talked a lot this past week. I wanna cry. I did my hair and makeup and spent over an hour getting ready for him. I even crocheted him a keychain cause he wanted one.
Was you spending that hour getting ready while he was waiting for you at the restaurant and crocheting his keychain and all this other stuff that you were doing before you went to meet him, or like you did that crocheting thing long before you met him? Because sounds to me, the first part that went downhill on this situation is that you guys are supposed to be meeting up. Your meetup had a time destination that was pretty far from you. You confirmed that it's going to take you a decent period of time to get there. Now, men are punctual more often than not, especially if they really like you. They're punctual. So this man decides that he's going to drive a pretty far distance to meet you. He got there more than 20 minutes before you did. So he's not sure if you're legit or not, because you said you were going to be there. First date, look, modern society, because you're 20. So that puts you in the Gen Z location. You 20-year-olds, y'all need to understand that it takes a man 5 minutes to get ready to go somewhere. So if you're going to meet somebody, it's a 45-minute drive. You need to make sure that the 45-minute drive plus the time it takes for you to get ready needs to be in the timeline of when you are going to meet this man, because you are not going to call yourself making a man that you have yet to meet for the first time in your life wait for an hour and 20 minutes for you to get your hair, nails, and everything else done. But if you are naturally beautiful, you should be able to just take the clothes that you have off and take the clothes that you have on off, and then take a shower and put on some clean clothes and just go out looking like that and be able to get the man with natural beauty, which would probably take you 10 to 15 minutes unless you're going to wash your hair. If you're one of those girls that spends 45 minutes washing your hair. So if you were just that person that took a good 5-minute, 10-minute wash off, just enough to make sure that you're not, right in any of those hot spots, and you're going to go ahead and put on some appropriate attire, which shouldn't take long to select, you're out of the door inside of 10, 20 minutes. If this is an evening event and you guys talked about this earlier in the day and you're going to meet up today, you should be able to put yourself in a position where you're able to look over your date within a reasonable period of time where you're only 5 minutes away or so. When you call your date and you tell your date that you're on your way or that you're close, and your date is already there and you've got 20 minutes ETA until you get there, you probably, instead of just telling them that you're on your way and that you're close, you should probably have him on speakerphone while you have the phone plugged in to the charger and using the hands-free scenario and communicating with him all the way to the restaurant, apologizing for the fact that you're late, because if he's already there and you're 20 minutes away, you are late. You are late. And you should cry because you're late. And he feels bad that he went all the way out there for a girl that didn't show up. And you have to remember, we have those bait traps where women will catfish a man into showing up to a location, never be there, and convince men to do stuff that they should not be doing out of the entertainment of being able to manipulate the man when men are acting on lust. So when a man is acting on the intent for a romantic relationship, a long-term relationship, lifelong partners, dating and married kind of situation, and for some reason he is talking to you, he's trying to hook up with you, or not hook up with you, but meet up with you, and you are not showing up, he would be the kind of man that would say, you know what, screw this, she's not real, and then leave. He would block you from his communications, because then when he does come to talk to you, because he left before you got there, and that's going to lead you, you're going to give him all kinds of excuses, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we should meet up another time. That's not, a man's got to stand on his non-negotiable expectations for behavior. And that also means that if the man wants his woman to be on time, then ma'am, you have to be on time. And that's one of those things that you need to learn from this experience, that when you are meeting up with somebody in person, that depending on their distance between you and them, that you guys meet in a location where you're already ready to go and you are going to drive down there. Or if this is a situation where you need more time to get ready, then you're going to make the plans to meet up with them tomorrow, and you are going to set up a time and a location that's reasonably distanced, and you will start getting ready 4 to 6 hours before the event so that you have the ability to go there and get there on time. Your goal is, if the date or the appointment for the date is set at 6 p.m, that you are there by 5:30, 5:45, parking your car, getting out of your car and walking into the building. That, just like they say for a job, that if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you're fired. Well, ma'am, that does apply with dating. If you are meeting your partner there and you are not before the date, then you're late. And if you are after the date, then you're fired. So if he was there 20 minutes before you got there, and it's far for both of y'all, he should not be 20 minutes ahead of you getting to the restaurant or whatever location that you went to. He should be 5 or 10 minutes away. You should be 5 or 10 minutes away if you got caught in traffic, and you should be able to communicate with him that, you are en route, and stay on the phone with him until you get there, so that you guys have something to talk about. And you can give him your ETA. You can send him your GPS signal, since you guys are talking to one another by phone, so that he can follow your GPS signal as you are approaching him, so that he can stay there and be like, look, don't leave. I'm coming. I'm almost there. 20 minutes out, blah, blah, blah. There was some stuff happened with my hair and makeup and outfit that caused me to be 20 minutes late. Like, explain yourself, Lucy. That's how you resolve that particular scenario. Better luck next time. Let's move on to the next one.
What are the signs that a man is falling in love with you deeply and truly? What does his behavior indicate about how he feels for you?
I like this question. So when a man is in love with you, he is going to rearrange his schedule so that he can be in your presence. When a man is in love with you, he is going to provide you with a larger quantity of generic and seemingly platonic compliments, because he's not just trying to get into your pants. He is providing you with these compliments because he really feels this way about you. So beyond the man telling you that you are an amazing person in some way, shape, or form, that you make him feel like $1 million and all this other stuff, he's going to literally rearrange his schedule. So he and when I say rearrange his schedule, he is going to make it a point that he's going to show up for the things that are important to you. He is going to get there quicker and delay leaving. So if he had somewhere important to be, he would push that off. He would reschedule it. He would delay his requirement to leave from your side. The people that, if you guys have a social group that intertwines with one another, then the people that know you, that know him, would be able to, tell you that at the very least, without going into details, that he thinks highly of you because he's always talking about you. So that lets you know that he's really into you because he's complimenting you with other ways. Like, for example, he's always reaching out to you, trying to make contact via text message, phone call, emails. He's delaying getting off the phone with you when he does get you on the phone. There are a lot of things that men do when they show you that they really care about you. He will make sacrifices for you. For example, sacrificing himself, sacrificing his resources. So he'll be there for you to lift the heavy things. He'll be there for you to take care of those financial woes. And he will also go the extra mile to try to fix things in your life that's going wrong. He will go the extra mile with putting effort into making you smile and making you happy. So that is more than just stuff that friends do. But typically, men have relationships with women that they are attracted to. So it's highly likely that even if you would have put him in the friend zone, he would be nicer to you and more generous to you and more flexible to you than what he is with other people. And if he's treating you better, even if it's mildly better than other people in his life, then that typically leans to the fact that he is holding back very strong feelings for you, even if he's keeping you at a platonic length. And you should probably explore those feelings that he has for you and determine if you are going to reciprocate those feelings and not ignore them. So make sure that you pay close attention to that. Let's move on to the next one.
Is it okay to get back with an ex after 15 or 20 years later?
Yeah, you're reckless. No. Exes are exes for a reason. You're not getting back with an ex because you have to first fix the things that made y'all break up in the first place. Because if you guys broke up once before, you are going to break up again if you guys are not working on yourselves as far as what your problems were with one another to begin with. Typically, 70 to 90% of the time, women leave the man. So if you left him and he has evolved into a different kind of man, typically those women that leave a man will circle back for that man because the man is better off financially. And that's not a good thing because the stuff he didn't like about you, you haven't changed, but his financial stability has changed. And because you're more stable, if that's the reason why you left, because he wasn't able to buy you the stuff that you wanted bought for you, that now he can afford to buy it, you circling back and going to date him, not a healthy relationship for him. So no. And then on the other foot, men do not want their ex after 15 or 20 years. If it didn't work out the first time, that like you're dead to him. So he's moved on and you will be a distant memory and probably a suppressed memory if it was a traumatic end. So he's only looking forward for the next girl or the current girl. He's not going to be what ifing about the one that didn't work out. And the one that got away typically applies to the big fish, small pond scenario where the woman has a metaphorical catch and she allows that man to slip away because of her unrealistic expectations. And her unrealistic expectations that did not improve, she's going to reinforce those unrealistic expectations on this man 15, 20 years down the line. And that's going to be terrible because you got to think about the fact that you're adding 15, 20 years to whatever your age was when y'all broke up. So if you were 18, 20 years later, you're 38, you're now overly opinionated and you're unreasonably not willing to negotiate with your boyfriend or your husband. And at 38, you're expecting him to meet your expectations, but you're not willing to reciprocate and meet his expectations. So if you weren't meeting his expectations back in the day, you're definitely not meeting his expectations now. So that's not cool. Then two, the other issue that we have is that between 15 and 20 years, you're looking at from 18 to like 23 or no, 33. You are looking at a scenario where still in the Middle Ages, you're still set in your ways. And this man probably, if he was older than you, he's in his 40s now, financially stable. You have passed your prime. You are, if you haven't already reached menopause, you're reaching menopause. Your ability to procreate, if this man wanted a large family when y'all were younger, 15, 20 years ago, and he doesn't have that large family, now he has to settle for not having that large family because now he's dating you and you're not capable of reproducing. So double-edged sword for him, not necessarily a positive. You have not shown any improvement in your contributions to why your relationship broke up in the first place. So no, I would not say that it would be in line with the man's best interest for his ex to get back with him 5, 10, 20 years down the line. I mean, yeah, you guys can rekindle and you can be like friends with benefits because you guys are familiar with how to satisfy one another sexually, but it's not worth it. It's not healthy. I wouldn't recommend it on my worst enemy. So no.
How long does it take for a guy to get over his ex if they have had no contact since they broke up?
Well, that's a good question because typically it takes about 2 times more than the length of the relationship for people to let go. Sometimes it can be shorter depending upon how attached you were to the person because you have to want to let that person go. You have to want to get that person out of your life before you could go through the phases of getting that person out of your life. And then if you started detaching yourself emotionally from your partner before your relationship fell apart, then by the time the relationship fell apart, from the time that you guys break up to the time that you get over it, is a lot shorter. So typically, I would say between 50% of the length of the relationship if it was a long relationship, or 2 times longer than the relationship if it was a short relationship, gives you the ability to recognize that you need to emotionally detach from this person and then go through that phase. You have recognized that you have successfully moved on when you are no longer thinking about your ex. It doesn't hurt, and you are not trying your best to avoid contacting that person. You are just not contacting that person. That person is not in the wheelhouse of your train of thought. That is when it is a good time for you to consider moving on. So once you've made peace with being with yourself, not being with that person anymore, that is when you have made peace with being able to move on and live a happy life, either by yourself or with someone else. All right, who's next here?
Do lots of wives cheat while at work?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. These females be out here cheating all over the place. It's easier for a woman to cheat on a man than it is for a man to cheat on a woman. Women don't agree with that, but it's the truth. Women can cheat on a man and not get caught for an extended period of time over the fact that men typically get caught cheating on women. But whether or not you're a man or a woman, it's not going to be any different to the fact that cheating is going to occur. But women emotionally cheat on men. So when you start talking about cheating as a woman, you are referring to sexually cheating on your partner, physically cheating on your partner. And yes, women are going to do that a lot of the times at the workplace with their work husband, the man that they have the emotional attachment with. That emotional attachment will develop into a physical attachment where you guys will then start getting physical at the workplace. And because you have formulated an emotional bond with this person, and women are emotional, that's equivalent to a man establishing a sexual bond with a woman at the workplace. And while you would deem that sexual bond at the workplace unacceptable for your relationship, your emotional bond at the workplace with your work husband is also equally unacceptable. That leaves the door open for betrayal, which will lead you to having affairs where you're either having affairs on the job or taking time off at the job to have affairs with your work husband, or getting off from work early to have affairs with your work husband, coming to work early to have affairs with your work husband, or getting to work late because you were having an affair with your work husband. And all of these scenarios are situations where the boyfriend or the husband would be oblivious to the fact that you are utilizing the fact that you are going to work as the excuse to engage with the work husband. So yeah, it's a common thing. And likewise, fellas, if a lady has work husbands, if she has male friends that she's identifying as family, then yeah, you should probably cut that loose, because there is an emotional attachment there that is beyond the emotional attachment that you have in your marriage. And these men have physical attraction to her, because no man is going to be friends with a woman that he is not willing to or interested in sleeping with. So that's a big red flag right there, to be in one of those relationships where your girlfriend is you're a boyfriend and she has a work husband. That means that her emotional attachment to him is stronger than her emotional attachment with you. She's already out the door. She just hasn't gotten her stuff yet. You are a free storage unit until she gets her shit together and get out.
Will a husband regret an affair and divorce?
Every husband's going to regret the divorce, because unless the woman is making that much money more than the man, where the man is not going to be required to put alimony on a table or child support, then that man is going to have to cash out. He's going to have to, every divorce leads to him cashing out. Some men may not regret the outcome of them having an affair or cheating, but most men do regret the fact that they got caught. There are men that will regret the fact that they took action in the first place when they acted on lust, because those men did not have the intention of having sex with another woman, but men's primal instincts to procreate and reproduce. That man may act on those desires for whatever reason. A lot of people blame it on the alcohol, but men like variety. So if you can have your cake and eat it too, you would love to do so. And some men with higher financial status are utilizing their additional status to be able to procreate with extra women. So like I talk about on the show a lot of the times, Nick Cannon has 5 children of the same age, which means he was sleeping with 5 different women at the same time because he can afford it. The average man does not have 5 women with a child in the same year, maybe 2 children of the same age, but not 5 children of the exact same age. They're not getting around like that, mostly because we got to work. So, yeah, men will have that regret of having that girlfriend cheated on or that wife cheated on, because poor choices happen, especially in our younger years. So we'll have that regret, and then we'll learn from it. And then we will put forth extra effort into not allowing ourselves to perform in that particular fashion, So when you say once a cheater, always a cheater, that's not true. The truth of the matter is that if your partner is unsatisfied with your contributions to the relationship, then he or she will find that fulfillment somewhere else. So if you are not doing your best efforts into being successful in your relationship, or there are unrealistic expectations that you and or your partner cannot meet, then that relationship is not going to be successful, because you will not be capable of satisfying your partner because their expectations are realistic, or you are not willing to satisfy your partner's expectations because you feel super entitled to the fact that you should not have to do that. Both of those go the exact same distance. With that being said, it was an unexpected scenario that happened today that led us to not starting the show on time, but we actually crossed over a reasonable hour broadcast. I guess this kind of shows our algorithm what our progress would have been like if we would have aired at 10 Eastern instead of 9 Eastern. But typically, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see us going live every night of the week. At least we try to be on time at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 5 Pacific. Things beyond our control may happen and delay the podcast release, but the show will be aired every day of the week, so you can look forward to that. Make sure that you keep an eye out for the rest of the week because we have other things coming up. I strongly recommend that you take a look at those things that are going to be coming up. Make sure that you like and subscribe, join the membership. As you can see, we have some fans that are coming back to the show. Noah Schaefer, Clips FSF, who sometimes comes in with inappropriate connotations. Either way, it is what it is. And it is what you make it also. So if you're not conflict avoided and just going with the flow, but you're making it into something that it needs to be, do that. Also, remember, if you like what you see and hear on the show, you guys can donate to the show directly with your super likes, super comments, and super emojis. Special thanks. So we really appreciate that you do that. In addition to that, joining the membership, you get discounts based on the level of the membership that you join, and that discount will be towards our YouTube store, which is this and that exclusive merchandise that you'll get the discount on. In addition to that, you will also have the affiliate products that we're advertising on the show throughout the show. So if you are interested in some of the stuff that you see on some of the shorts and long form videos and some of the lives, you will be able to purchase them straight through the link. If you're watching the show on YouTube, you just have to click on the affiliate item that for some cell phones, it's on the left side. Well, for everybody, it's on the left side, right above the timer. You will see that affiliate items or merchant items from our YouTube store. We have over 150 plus items, plus the affiliate items that we promote as well. Buying those things through us gives us the opportunity to improve and maintain the platform. So we strongly encourage for you guys to do that, and also get you some memorabilia from the This and That platform that will aid you in reflecting the fact that you like our podcast, especially if some of our dating advice has helped you in the past with past relationships. We get your throw pillow. I always say that. You can get yourself a This and That pendant. You can get yourself a This and That shirt. You can get a slim fit for her. You can get a muscular fit for you. Whatever you guys like to do. It is what it is. Beyond that, that's all I have for y'all today. I really appreciate you guys for coming in from Twitch, YouTube, and from TikTok. We're going to go ahead and sign out of TikTok first. So, guys, ladies, especially ladies, I'm going to tell you this, that as long as things don't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you to make it make sense. So, ladies, make it make sense. And for the rest of you guys that are on YouTube, I really appreciate you guys coming to the show. Better late than never. And yeah, you guys did a great job. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the comments back and forward, even the inappropriate ones. I would prefer more appropriate ones, clips. So think about that going forward. But beyond that, yeah, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow night. So I'm your host, Xander, with This and That and everything in between. And you have a good night.